Hi, in this video I'm going to talk a bit about personal development for men, and it may not be politically correct to separate out personal development for men, but that doesn't mean there aren't some subtle or not so subtle differences when it comes to self-help. If you've ever been to a personal development seminar in real life, chances are that the balance of people in the room was definitely not split 50-50 male and female. And there's something about men, even those who claim to be metrosexual, that doesn't always fit comfortably with the idea of personal development. Maybe we're too proud, maybe we're not as in touch with our feelings as we, in quote marks, should be. Whatever the reason or excuse, I think there are differences. A lot of things in the personal development world are unisex, but certain things attract more men than women, and vice versa. And maybe that's why, personally, I like to use binaural beats meditation. It's kind of the gadget equivalent of self-help. The techie side of me likes that the beats have been tuned to push my brain towards the desired state, and that takes the hard work and the guesswork out of meditation. No practice involved, just select the track and press play. Convenience. And for me, that's good. Sure, I could practice meditation for years and eventually get to the same state as I could with a few lessons of binaural beats, but I'm not aiming to become a monk, so I prefer the higher tech route. But a lot of women I know prefer to go to local meditation class, or they do meditation yoga classes and they practice that way, so it's horses for courses on that, definitely. And some personal development, maybe all of it, is self-selecting, so the moral dilemma of whether it's aimed at men or women, or both, doesn't really matter. But that doesn't stop it nagging away at us in the back of our minds. And I'm going to go out on a limb a bit here. I think the biggest gains to be made from personal development are picking a program that just works for you, rather than trying to figure out whether or not it's designed for men. Trouble is, our rational mind doesn't totally believe that statement. We're so used to things in life being gender-based that we expect everything to be that way. Just walk down the personal care aisle of a supermarket and you'll find different products for men and women. Lots of them have a lot more differences in the packaging than there are in the product themselves. Marketers know that and they pander to it because they get more sales and quite often more profit. There's occasional newspaper stories about how certain things are overpriced for one sex or the other. I think the main secret to doing personal development, regardless of whether you're male or female, is to actually do something, and ideally make that something you enjoy. I think that's much more important than anything else. If you're doing something, especially in personal development, then it shouldn't be a chore. So pick an area you want to improve in your life, home in on one or two areas at a time. Personally, I like to have a couple of areas on the go so I can pick and choose which one to concentrate on more on any given day. But don't choose too many areas, otherwise it'll be like the bucket list that's most people's New Year's resolution list, and you're more likely to feel overwhelmed if the list is too long. Far better to pick off one or two areas a month and do them in depth, then next month, assuming you've got as far as you want to go in those areas, pick another one or two, and so on. In a year you'll get through a dozen or more things and you'll be a noticeably better person, probably more chilled and a few other plus points, rather than trying to do everything at once and be a jack of all trades. And that's a really big secret in getting your personal development going forward. One thing I like to do with personal development, and I do much the same in business, is write a list of pros and cons for any new area I'm thinking of using. If I struggle to come up with a list of more pros than cons, I move on, regardless of whether or not other people are telling me or trying to tell me that something's absolutely fantastic and I'm really missing out if I don't do it. If I can't come up with a list of pros, even if it's a short list that's longer than my list of cons, I put that area onto the back burner, maybe forever, maybe for a few months until I change my mind or whatever, because minds do change. And that's my analytical side coming out, and if that works for you, do it. If it doesn't, don't do it. It really is that simple. Unless you've just been sent on a course at work, personal development is just that, it's personal. So go on, pick an area. It could be law of attraction, meditation, hypnosis, how to win friends and influence people, anything else that grabs you. Then, after you've done your first gut reaction pros and cons list, drill down, because all those areas I just mentioned are really big, far too big for us to concentrate on. For me, again, I'm honed in on binaural beats meditation rather than one of the other areas. Hypnosis, I've trained to become a hypnotist so I can help other people, and especially so since I've hooked it in with NLP, which just speeds it up generally. Law of attraction, I practice gratitude regularly, and I make sure that as much as possible I keep my words positive and nip the negatives in the bud, because otherwise I'm attracting the wrong kind of thing. Those are the areas I personally get on with best. Other people I know have honed on emotional intelligence, EFT, tapping, breathing meditations. Those are really energetic and tiring if you do them in a certain way. Curing people using neuro-linguistic programming and NLP, and lots of other different things. The idea of the field of personal development is massive, so pick an area or two and go for it. If you're still not sure, click the link below this video. I'll send you lots and lots of things you can trial, basically for free. And since I'm male, there's a good chance they're biased towards personal development for men, even if they're not badged as such. So go on, click that link and get you some freebies. Thanks for watching.